and that LeBron James is going to make sure that the Lakers grabbed him. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron has earned this.
With Bronny, I want to clarify one thing you just said, which is Rob and I did not give Bronny anything. Bronny has earned this.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
And I was like, oh, he's special. Like, he's special. She was like, what? He's 5 years old. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I've seen this before.
Corner, James, air ball. James before the shot clock.
5 years removed from their championship. Bronny James.
I'm like, I've seen this before. Like, I know I've seen this before.
When it comes to Bronny James' awful play on the court, we've come to expect very little from this guy as a rookie. But even with that being said, Bronny as a rookie, somehow worse than you could have imagined and more embarrassing. As through 3 preseason games, he was shooting 1 for 11, absolutely pitiful. In his 4th game, actually caught 5 versus the Warriors, went 1 of 5, and raised his field goal percentage.
No. It's not true. That's impossible.
It's getting so pathetic, so embarrassing at this point. The Bronny James highlight reels are getting super desperate. Look at this one. 2 points. Oh my gosh. This one, NBA debut. And my personal favorite, 19 points with LeBron and Bronny. And of course, who had the 19? LeBron. Bronny, of course, had 0, improving, but still had 0. Now, getting serious for 1 second, the entire Bronny debacle, it's almost bigger than him, not about him. As the biggest storyline, in my opinion, is the defense of Bronny James and him being an NBA player. As you look at the media or social media, people defend Bronny James tooth and nail, despite the poor shooting, awful defense, and just lackluster play. What so-called NBA fans want is you, the sports fan, to turn your mind off, watch the TV, just sit there drooling, watching Bronny and LeBron, no questions asked. If you have an IQ above 25, any integrity for the sport, this right here, Bronny and LeBron, it infuriates you. Because once again, Bronny didn't earn his spot despite being a second-round pick at number 55. Despite that, still did not earn it. And looking at these so-called media, if you want to talk integrity, these guys have absolutely 0.
So nobody knows nothing about the top 15 picks in the NBA. That is the problem here. That they're focused on the 55th pick in the NBA draft, and everybody else, the top 5 picks, get to go through the league like
nothing happened.
nothing happened.
Hey, that's a fact they're doing that. That's a fact they're doing that. They like
Because if there's no Bronny, the kid from the Wizards would be called a bust today. Because if you take Bronny out, he will be last in preseason.
So he's worse than Bronny. If we thinking about
in theory,
the numbers.
In theory, right now, the young kid over there will be considered he's busting out right now.
So stopping Gilbert's ramblings right there, ironically, kind of proves our point to a T. As Gilbert in the first half, he was scolding NBA fans, you know, you're putting too much pressure, expectations, it's too much for Bronny. Where's that same energy, same hype for the top draft picks? Now that right there, not a totally brain-dead take. But in the following seconds, when comparing Bronny versus the top draft picks, can't even name Alex Sarr, the top pick of the Wizards. To Gilbert, he's just the kid from the Wizards.
So nobody knows nothing about the top 15 picks in the NBA. That is the problem here.
A few moments later.
The kid from the Wizards would be called a bust today.
And look, I'm not the biggest Alex Sarr fan. I think this draft class is actually kind of pathetic. But looking at Alex Sarr and Bronny James, the comparison right here, there's no comparison to be made. Alex Sarr in the preseason has been pretty decent. 11 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, around 2 blocks, and phenomenal shooting. Alex Sarr compared to rookies, top 10 in scoring, rebounding, top 5 in threes made, the highest percentage, and 3rd in blocks. For a top draft pick, a lot of questions, that is a solid preseason. I'm not going to sit here in 20 years and say, wow, 2024 Alex Sarr in the preseason just lit the world on fire, the second coming of King Olajuwon. I'm not going to say that. But at the same time, putting Alex Sarr on Bronny's level is downright disrespectful.
What's that smell?
What smell? Ooh. You stink.
And one more point I do want to make about Gilbert, as with the media at large, they have no problem tearing down rookies like Alex Sarr, Reed Shepard, any of their top draft pick. They have no problem doing that. But what Gilbert does in a roundabout way is tear Alex Sarr down so far that Bronny James and him on a similar level. Well, like I said previously, Bronny's level is he's on his own level out there in no man's land. As looking at Bronny's ranks compared to rookies, these numbers are pathetic. Points per game among rookies, 94. Field goal percentage, 95th. 3 percentage, 104th. And plus minus, 105th. When you think it's reached rock bottom, got as bad as it could be, somehow it gets even worse, even more pathetic, and embarrassing. And that glorious cop-out answer, well, he's pick 55, a second round pick. Even with those expectations, those very, 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 very low expectations, Bronny still has underperformed and underachieved.
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
My biggest problem with the entire fiasco, we're trying to bend the NBA to LeBron James and Bronny, and not vice versa. It's not a rookie proving himself, it's tearing down other rookies to prove Bronny really isn't that bad. When in all reality, he is that bad and even worse. And looking at someone like Chandler Parsons in the Vanna Gilbert arenas, making excuses, cop-outs, and terrible comparisons to justify Bronny being an NBA player.
I was talking about earlier, I think it's more strange, like back in the day when Austin Rivers played for his dad.
Okay.
That to me is way different.
Why?
Because a player is always going to feel some way about the coach. You snubbed me. You subbed me out too early.
Well, clearly they do.
3 minutes to go on the bench, he looks down the bench and he picks Austin to go in instead of me. I'm going to feel a little slighted. I can't help but think that's favoritism. So that to me is weirder than Bronny and Bron playing together.
But once you're in that scenario though, you also have to realize Austin Rivers is a real deal pro, right?
Yeah.
So him going into a game isn't something that he was given; it was earned, right? So,
Thank you!
So stopping that right there, Chandler Parsons trying to just bend reality, bend the truth to suit some weird LeBron-Bronny narrative that it's not as bad as Austin Rivers and Doc Rivers. And again, that comparison, it's pathetic. Austin Rivers in high school, he was a prodigy. His mixtape was legendary. And in high school, he was a 5-star prospect, legit 5-star prospect, the 3rd highest ranked player in the country. Now, of course, in college, went to Duke, was a one and done, also an All-American, All-ACC, tons of accolades and awards that he rightfully got, and eventually in the NBA was a top 10 pick. Comparing the Doc Rivers-Austin Rivers dynamic to LeBron James and Bronny is downright laughable, as someone like Austin Rivers earned his spot, earned his way to the biggest stage. Bronny James at every level has underachieved and been a laughingstock. And it makes you wonder, are they really this stupid, this idiotic, or maybe just they're too afraid to tell the truth about Bronny because of his dad? If you ask me, it's exactly what it is. For Bronny James, as long as LeBron's in the NBA, he'll be protected from criticism, from players, the media, from everyone. Once LeBron leaves, the players, they're going to eat this guy's lunch because they know he didn't deserve it. Can they say that? No. So that right there is the end of the video. And once again, the entire NBA is bending to LeBron James and Bronny. And if you look at past eras, 1980s, Magic and Bird, kind of the emergence of the NBA, the golden era. Jordan's era of the 90s, peak NBA, peak basketball. The 2000s, a new era post-Jordan, an influx of all these superstars. Then the 2010s, post-Kobe, had a pretty good run, then about the mid-2010s, fell off a cliff, and now in the 2020s, what do we have? We're in the era of WWE basketball, entertainment spectacle, with an actual play on the court. And if you want to blame one figure, one person for that, who I'd look to is LeBron James. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.